Welcome to Cambodia. Cambodia, a land of timeless wonders and deep-rooted history, lies in the heart of Southeast Asia. From its world-famous temples and ancient ruins to its unspoiled jungles and floating villages, this country is a mesmerizing blend of cultural heritage and natural beauty. Every corner tells a story, one of resilience, grandeur, and an unbreakable connection to the past. As we embark on a journey through Cambodia's most extraordinary wonders, we'll explore the sacred temples of a lost empire, witness breathtaking landscapes shaped by time, and uncover the fascinating traditions that define this remarkable nation. But before we dive into the wonders of Cambodia, let's start with some interesting facts about this incredible country. Waterways in Cambodia are more than just scenic landscapes. They hold some of nature's most fascinating secrets. The Tonlé Sap River, which connects Southeast Asia's largest freshwater lake to the Mekong River, is the only river in the world that reverses its flow twice a year. During the monsoon season, heavy rainfall swells the Mekong, forcing water to push back into Tonlé Sap Lake, expanding it to over 6 times its dry season size. When the rains stop, the water drains back toward the Mekong. This natural phenomenon supports Cambodia's rich biodiversity and is vital for fishing and agriculture. Cambodia is a country with a young and vibrant population. Out of its 16 million people, the majority are under the age of 20. Education has played a crucial role in shaping the nation's future, with literacy rates now at 80%. Buddhism is deeply woven into Cambodian culture, with 97% of the population following the faith. Monasteries, known as pagodas, serve not only as places of worship, but also as centers of learning. The capital, Phnom Penh, is the heart of Cambodia's political and economic life, but tradition and spirituality remain an essential part of daily life across the country. While birthdays are widely celebrated in many cultures, Cambodia is an exception. Many Cambodians, especially the older generations, don't know their exact birth date and rarely celebrate birthdays. Instead, they observe age and life transitions based on the lunar calendar and traditional festivals. The Khmer New Year, celebrated in April, is often seen as a time of renewal, where families come together to honor their ancestors and welcome good fortune for the year ahead. This cultural tradition reflects a strong emphasis on community and spiritual well-being, rather than personal milestones. Angkor Wat. A masterpiece of devotion and architectural brilliance, this vast temple complex rises from the Cambodian jungle, its silhouette reflecting centuries of history. Built in the early 12th century under King Suryavarman II, it was originally intended as a Hindu temple dedicated to Vishnu. Unlike most Khmer temples, its design faces west, a direction often associated with the setting sun and death, leading scholars to believe it was also meant to serve as the king's mausoleum. The scale of construction was unprecedented. Spanning over 400 acres, it embodies the Temple Mountain concept, symbolizing Mount Meru, the sacred peak in Hindu mythology. At its core, 5 towering spires represent its mythical peaks, while the outer moat, stretching over 5 kilometers, mirrors the cosmic ocean. Intricate bas-reliefs carved into its walls depict grand Hindu epics, battles, and celestial beings, each detail reflecting the artistic mastery of the Khmer Empire. But time did not stand still for this sacred site. Decades after its completion, the empire faced turbulence. In 1177, the Chams, the empire's traditional rivals, invaded, leaving destruction in their wake. The Khmer, under Jayavarman VII, restored their dominance but shifted their focus to a new capital, Angkor Wat. During this period, the temple gradually transformed into a Buddhist sanctuary, with images of Buddha replacing some of the Hindu carvings. Unlike many Angkorian structures that succumbed to abandonment, this temple remained a place of worship, its significance unbroken through centuries. Restoration efforts in the 20th century revived its grandeur, leading to its recognition as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1992. Today, its towering spires remain Cambodia's most cherished symbol, immortalized on the national flag. Every year, millions of visitors walk its sacred halls, marveling at the ingenuity of an empire that once ruled over Southeast Asia. Tonlé Sap. In the heart of Cambodia lies a body of water that breathes with the seasons, expanding and shrinking in a rhythm dictated by the monsoons. This vast freshwater lake, the largest in Southeast Asia, plays a crucial role in the region's ecology, culture, and economy. It is not just a lake, but a living, shifting landscape, supporting millions of people and an astonishing array of wildlife. During the dry season, its waters recede, leaving behind fertile plains where farmers cultivate rice. But as the rains arrive, the Mekong River swells, pushing its current backward and reversing the flow of the Tonlé Sap River. The lake expands more than 5 times its size, creating an immense floodplain that becomes a breeding ground for fish and a sanctuary for countless species. This unique hydrological phenomenon makes it one of the most productive ecosystems in the world, earning its status as a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve in 1997. The lake's biodiversity is astounding. More than 200 species of fish thrive in its waters, alongside endangered animals like the Siamese crocodile and the Mekong giant catfish, one of the largest freshwater fish in the world. Its flooded forests provide shelter for rare birds, including the gray-headed fish eagle and the Bengal florican. These interwoven habitats create a delicate balance that has sustained both wildlife and human life for centuries. But this balance is now under threat. Deforestation, overfishing, and hydropower development along the Mekong River have disrupted the lake's natural cycle. As upstream dams slow the flow of water, the seasonal reversal that has sustained Tonlé Sap for millennia is weakening. In 2020, the lake reached its lowest recorded level in 60 years, raising concerns about its future. Despite these challenges, the Tonlé Sap remains the beating heart of Cambodia. Its floating villages, where entire communities drift with the rising and falling waters, reflect a way of life deeply connected to nature's rhythms. As the world changes, the fate of this extraordinary lake will determine not just the survival of its wildlife, but the lives of millions who depend on its waters. Bayon Temple. Deep in the heart of Angkor Wat stands a temple unlike any other. Rising from the ruins of an ancient empire, its stone towers are adorned with hundreds of serene faces, their enigmatic smiles watching over the land. Built in the late 12th century under King Jayavarman VII, this architectural marvel was the last great state temple of the Khmer Empire and remains one of its most mysterious. Unlike the grand symmetry of Angkor Wat, this temple was designed with a chaotic beauty. Narrow corridors and clustered towers create a labyrinth of stone, while intricately carved bas reliefs tell stories of war, mythology, and everyday life. The temple's 216 massive stone faces carved into the towers are its most distinctive feature. Scholars believe they represent Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of compassion, yet their striking resemblance to King Jayavarman VII suggests they may also be a reflection of his divine rule. Originally dedicated to Mahayana Buddhism, the temple was meant to symbolize the unity of the kingdom under the king's spiritual guidance. But this vision was short-lived. In the 13th century, After the Khmer Empire reverted to Hinduism, parts of the temple were altered and many Buddhist carvings were defaced. Later, with the rise of Theravada Buddhism, more changes followed before the temple was eventually abandoned to the jungle. For centuries, nature reclaimed the site, its massive stone blocks collapsing under the weight of time. Restoration efforts began in the 20th century, and today, conservation teams work to preserve its fragile structure. Though its original purpose remains a subject of debate, the temple stands as a testament to the artistic and spiritual complexity of the Khmer Empire. Visitors who wander through its passageways and gaze up at its watchful stone faces find themselves immersed in an ancient world, one that still whispers its secrets through the ruins. Cardamom Mountains. A vast expanse of rugged peaks and dense rainforest stretches across southwestern Cambodia, concealing mysteries that have endured for centuries. This is one of the last untouched wilderness areas in Southeast Asia, a land of towering trees, hidden waterfalls, and elusive wildlife. Known as the Cardamom Mountains, this isolated range remains a sanctuary for nature and history alike. Unlike the flat plains of central Cambodia, this landscape is shaped by dramatic elevations, with Phnom Kulen standing as its highest peak at 1,813 meters. The mountains act as a climatic divide. On the western slopes, monsoon rains nourish dense tropical forests, while the eastern side receives far less rainfall, creating drier woodlands. This unique environment has allowed an astonishing array of wildlife to thrive, including endangered species such as clouded leopards, sun bears, and one of Southeast Asia's last populations of wild elephants. But the Cardamoms are not only a refuge for nature. Scattered among the cliffs and caves are remnants of a long-lost burial tradition. For centuries, unknown communities placed ceramic jars and wooden coffins on remote rock ledges. Their purpose is still debated by archaeologists. Some believe these burials were reserved for royalty, while others suggest they were part of an ancient spiritual practice. Nearby, rock paintings depict elephants, deer, and human figures, possibly linked to rituals of hunting or elephant taming, traditions that persisted in the region until the 20th century. The mountains also hold a darker history. During the late 20th century, this inaccessible terrain became a final stronghold for the Khmer Rouge. For decades, the forests provided both shelter and isolation for rebel fighters, leaving behind a legacy of abandoned bunkers and hidden pathways. Today, illegal logging and poaching threaten this once pristine wilderness. Conservation efforts and ecotourism initiatives offer hope, but as roads and industries creep closer, the battle to preserve one of Cambodia's last great wilderness areas is far from over. To Prohm. Deep within the jungles of Cambodia, an ancient temple stands frozen in time. Stone corridors twist through towering ruins, while giant tree roots weave through the walls, gripping them like the hands of nature reclaiming its own. This is Ta Prohm, a temple unlike any other in Angkor. Built in the late 12th century by King Jayavarman VII, it was originally named Raja Vihara, a monastery and learning center dedicated to the memory of his mother. Unlike the grandeur of Angkor Wat, this temple was never meant to dominate the landscape. Instead, it was designed to blend with its surroundings, its walls adorned with intricate carvings of devatas, meditating monks and guardians. At its heart stood a sanctuary dedicated to Prajnaparamita, the personification of wisdom, modeled after the king's mother. At its peak, the temple was a thriving spiritual center, home to over 12,500 people, including high priests, dancers, and scholars. Surrounding villages supported its upkeep, supplying goods and resources to sustain its vast community. But time was not kind to Ta Prohm. As the Khmer Empire declined, the temple was abandoned, left to the mercy of the encroaching jungle. Unlike many temples of Angkor that were later restored, this one was deliberately left in its ruined state, creating a haunting yet mesmerizing sight. Towering silk cotton and strangler fig trees envelop the ruins, their roots cracking through the stone, giving the temple an almost otherworldly presence. Today, Prohm is one of the most visited sites in Angkor, made even more famous by its appearance in the film Tomb Raider. Though restoration efforts have been made to stabilize its fragile structure, the temple's raw beauty remains. As visitors walk its shadowed halls, they step into a forgotten world where history and nature exist in perfect harmony. Phnom Kulen. A sacred mountain shrouded in legend, Phnom Kulen rises from the Cambodian landscape as a place of deep spiritual and historical significance. Covered in dense rainforest and cascading waterfalls, this plateau is more than just a natural wonder. It is the birthplace of the Khmer Empire. It was here, in the 9th century, that King Jayavarman II proclaimed Cambodia's independence from Java, marking the dawn of the powerful Khmer civilization. This mountain served as the empire's first capital, and remnants of its past still lie hidden within the jungle. Carved directly into the riverbed of the Siem Reap River are the mysterious Kabal speen carvings, thousands of sacred lingas, representations of the Hindu god Shiva. These underwater carvings were believed to purify the waters before they flowed downstream, blessing the fertile lands below. But Phnom Kulen is not just a place of history, it is also a site of deep religious devotion. At the summit stands the Preah Pagoda, home to a massive reclining Buddha statue carved from a single rock. Pilgrims travel from across Cambodia to pay their respects, leaving offerings and prayers in the hope of receiving blessings. The mountain's sacred waterfalls, believed to possess healing powers, attract both locals and visitors who bathe in their cool, cascading waters. Yet, for all its beauty, the mountain holds a darker past. During the Khmer Rouge regime, this remote location became a stronghold for rebel forces, its isolation providing a natural refuge from conflict. Even today, unexploded ordnance remains hidden in parts of the forest, a silent reminder of the war that once scarred the land. Despite these remnants of the past, Phnom Kulen remains a symbol of Cambodia's spiritual and cultural heritage. As the place where the Khmer Empire began, it continues to be revered, its forests, temples, and rivers whispering the stories of a kingdom that shaped the history of Southeast Asia. Banteay Srei. Hidden deep in the Cambodian jungle lies a temple unlike any other. Built in the 10th century, this sacred site is a masterpiece of intricate design, its red sandstone walls carved with astonishing detail. Unlike most grand Angkorian temples, this one was not built by a king. Instead, it was commissioned by 2 courtiers under King Rajendra Varman II, making it one of the few temples in Angkor constructed by non-royal figures. Originally named Tribhuvanamaheshvara, meaning Great Lord of the Threefold World, the temple was dedicated to the Hindu god Shiva. However, its layout also features strong associations with Vishnu, dividing the temple into 2 symbolic halves. Unlike the towering structures of Angkor Wat, this temple's buildings are unusually small in scale, earning it the nickname Citadel of Women or Citadel of Beauty. Some believe this name comes from the countless devatas, celestial female figures, gracing its walls, while others suggest it reflects the temple's delicate carvings, which resemble the work of skilled artisans rather than large-scale builders. The temple's decoration is its most extraordinary feature. Every inch of its surfaces is adorned with elaborate bas-reliefs depicting Hindu myths, including scenes from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. The craftsmanship is so detailed that the figures appear almost lifelike, as if frozen in motion. The soft red sandstone used in its construction allowed for an unparalleled level of detail, making it one of the finest examples of Khmer art. Though it was abandoned after the fall of the Khmer Empire, the temple was rediscovered in 1914. It became infamous in 1923 when French writer André Malraux attempted to steal several sculptures, an act that brought international attention to Angkor's treasures. Today, Banteay Srei is carefully preserved, its delicate carvings protected from erosion and vandalism. Unlike its grander counterparts, this temple captivates not with its scale, but with its sheer artistry, a testament to the skill and devotion of those who built it over 1,000 years ago. Ream National Park. Where the land meets the sea, a vast expanse of untouched wilderness stretches along Cambodia's southwestern coast. This is Ream National Park, a sanctuary of rivers, mangrove forests, and coral reefs, home to an extraordinary diversity of life. Established in 1993, it was one of the first protected areas in Cambodia, created to safeguard the country's dwindling natural resources. The park spans over 210 square kilometers, covering both land and sea. Inland, evergreen forests and rolling hills provide shelter for rare species, while along the coastline, the Preah Kuk Sap River carves through the landscape, feeding estuaries that spill into the Gulf of Thailand. Offshore, the islands of Koh Khmer and Koh Ker are surrounded by seagrass beds and coral reefs, teeming with marine life. This variety of ecosystems makes the park one of the most ecologically rich areas in Cambodia. The biodiversity of Ream National Park is astounding. Among its dense forests, rhesus monkeys swing between branches, while the elusive mouse deer moves silently through the undergrowth. Endangered saris cranes and pelicans soar over the wetlands, while in the turquoise waters, dolphins glide alongside dugongs, one of the region's most endangered marine mammals. The mangrove forests act as a crucial buffer against coastal erosion and serve as a nursery for fish and other marine species, maintaining the delicate balance of life. But despite its beauty, Ream faces ongoing challenges. Almost 30,000 people live in and around the park, relying on its resources for fishing, farming, and tourism. Illegal logging and land disputes have led to deforestation, while commercial fishing threatens marine biodiversity. Conservation efforts have been put in place, but balancing environmental protection with local livelihoods remains a difficult task. Yet, Ream National Park continues to stand as a symbol of Cambodia's natural heritage. Its vast landscapes and diverse wildlife offer a glimpse into a world where nature still thrives, reminding all who visit of the importance of preserving these wild spaces for future generations. Koh Ker. Deep in the forests of northern Cambodia lies an ancient city lost to time. Unlike the famous temples of Angkor, this forgotten capital was once the center of the Khmer Empire, ruling over the region for a brief but powerful period. Known as Koh Ker, or historically Lingapura, this remote archaeological site is home to a unique collection of temples, monuments, and a towering pyramid unlike anything else in Cambodia. In 928 AD, King Jayavarman IV broke away from Angkor and established his new capital at Koh Ker. This sudden shift of power led to an intense period of construction, with massive stone structures rising from the jungle in just 2 decades. At the heart of the city stands Prasat Tom, a 7-tiered pyramid soaring 36 meters into the sky. Unlike the more common Temple Mountain structures of Angkor, this stepped design is rare in Khmer architecture, suggesting influences from other civilizations. The pyramid is believed to have been a state temple dedicated to Shiva, with an enormous linga, a sacred representation of the deity, once standing at its summit. Beyond the pyramid, more than 180 sanctuaries have been discovered in the surrounding jungle. though many remain hidden beneath the thick vegetation. Intricately carved statues, once adorning temple walls, have been looted over the centuries, with some now displayed in museums around the world. Despite this loss, the temples still showcase the distinct Koh Ker style, with massive guardian figures and expressive stone carvings reflecting a bold artistic evolution. After the death of Jayavarman IV in 941 AD, the capital was moved back to Angkor, leaving Koh Ker abandoned. Though its reign as the Khmer Empire's center was short-lived, its architectural legacy endures. In 2023, UNESCO recognized Koh Ker as a World Heritage Site, cementing its place among Cambodia's most significant historical treasures. Today, as restoration efforts continue, visitors who make the journey to this remote site are rewarded with a glimpse into a forgotten chapter of Khmer history, where the jungle and ancient ruins exist in a delicate balance. Preah Vihear Temple. Perched atop a 525-meter cliff in the Dangrek Mountains, this ancient Hindu temple stands as one of Cambodia's most breathtaking and strategically positioned religious sites. Unlike most Khmer temples that follow an east-facing layout, Preah Vihear Temple is uniquely built along a north-south axis, its terraces and stairways leading directly to the summit, where panoramic views stretch across the plains below. Construction of the temple began in the 9th century, with successive Khmer kings expanding and modifying it over the centuries. Dedicated to Shiva, it was revered as a sacred mountain temple, symbolizing Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods in Hindu cosmology. By the 10th century, under King Suryavarman I, Preah Vihear became an important spiritual center, and further enhancements were made during the reign of Suryavarman II, the builder of Angkor Wat. The temple's intricate carvings and grand stairways reflect the artistic heights of the Khmer Empire, while its elevated location gave it both spiritual and defensive significance. The temple's 5 gopuras, gateways, serve as thresholds to different levels of the sanctuary, each revealing new layers of sacred art and symbolism. One of its most striking reliefs, the churning of the Sea of Milk, depicts a scene from Hindu mythology where gods and demons work together to create the nectar of immortality. This masterpiece is considered one of the finest carvings in Khmer architecture. Despite its grandeur, Preah Vihear has long been at the center of conflict. In 1962, after a dispute between Cambodia and Thailand, the International Court of Justice ruled in Cambodia's favor, confirming the temple as part of Cambodian territory. Tensions reignited in the early 2000s, leading to armed clashes. Today, while political tensions persist, the temple remains a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a testament to the enduring legacy of the Khmer Empire. Bokor Hill Station. High above the coastal plains of southern Cambodia, a ghostly relic of the past stands in silent decay. Bokor Hill Station, built in the 1920s by the French colonial government, was once a luxurious retreat designed to escape the tropical heat. Nestled atop Bokor Mountain, 1,079 meters above sea level, the site offered cool air, stunning views, and an air of exclusivity. But its history is one of repeated abandonment, war, and rebirth. The resort's crown jewel was the Bokor Palace Hotel, a grand casino hotel that became a playground for French elites. Alongside it, a post office, a Catholic church, and the residence of the colonial governor completed the station, creating a self-contained world far removed from the struggles of Cambodia's lowlands. However, the cost of building this remote retreat was immense. 900 workers died during its construction. By the 1940s, growing resistance against colonial rule forced the French to abandon Bokor Hill. Decades later, in the 1960s, Cambodia's King Norodom Sihanouk attempted to revive the site, adding a casino and more accommodations. But history repeated itself when war reached the mountain once again. During the Khmer Rouge era, Bokor became a battleground, first as a stronghold for rebel forces and later during the Vietnamese invasion in 1979. Even into the 1990s, remnants of the Khmer Rouge continued to occupy the area, leaving the station in a state of eerie ruin. Today, modern development has returned to Bokor. The Sokamex group has transformed the area into a tourist destination, with new roads, hotels, and resorts, including the Thansur Bokor Highland Resort, which opened in 2012. Yet, the crumbling ruins of the old hotel and church remain, shrouded in mist, whispering the stories of a bygone era where luxury, conflict, and abandonment shaped this mountaintop retreat. Sambor Prei Kuk. Deep in the forests of Kampong Thom province, the ruins of an ancient city stand as a testament to the grandeur of the Chenla kingdom. Known as Sambor Prei Kuk, or Isanapura, this was one of the earliest Khmer capitals, long before Angkor rose to power. Built in the 7th century by King Isanavarman I, it was a sacred center dedicated to Shiva, filled with temples, towering sculptures, and intricate carvings that still survive today. Unlike the later temples of Angkor, Sambor Prei Kuk is made primarily of brick, with sandstone used for decorative details. Its octagonal towers, a rare feature in Khmer architecture, stand as some of the oldest surviving stone structures in Cambodia. The site is divided into 3 main clusters: Prasat Sambor in the north, believed to be the king's state temple; Prasat Yea Puan in the south, which contains 22 temples from the 7th century, and Prasat Boram at the center, known for its majestic lion sculptures guarding the ruins. These sculptures have given it the nickname, the Lion Temple. During its peak, Isanapura was a flourishing religious and political center, with inscriptions calling its ruler the King of Kings. It was one of the first Southeast Asian cities to establish direct contact with China's Sui dynasty, strengthening trade and diplomacy. However, after the death of Jayavarman Phonsi in the 8th century, the kingdom fractured, and Sambor Prei Kuk faded into history, eventually being overtaken by the rise of Angkor. Despite centuries of neglect, war, and even U.S. bombings during the Vietnam War, many structures remain intact. UNESCO recognized the site in 2017, preserving its legacy as one of Southeast Asia's oldest temple complexes. Today, Sambor Prei Kuk offers a glimpse into Cambodia's early architectural mastery, a forgotten city where nature and history intertwine. Siem Reap. Siem Reap is Cambodia's second-largest city and the gateway to the world-famous Angkor temples. Located in the northwest of the country, it has grown from a small village into a bustling tourist hub, attracting millions of visitors each year. While best known for its proximity to Angkor Wat, Siem Reap has its own rich history, vibrant culture, and unique blend of old and new. The city's name, meaning the defeat of Siam, is often linked to a legendary victory over the Thai kingdom in the 16th century. However, historical records suggest that Siem Reap's past is more complex, with the region frequently changing hands between Khmer and Thai rulers. By the 19th century, it was a quiet settlement, overshadowed by the ruins of Angkor. That changed when French explorers rediscovered the temples, bringing international attention and leading to the development of the city as a tourist destination. During the 20th century, Siem Reap became a key center of French colonial influence. The construction of the Grand Hotel d'Angkor in the 1920s marked the beginning of its transformation into a tourism hub. However, decades of conflict, including the Khmer Rouge era, halted its progress. It was only after the late 1990s, when Cambodia regained stability, that Siem Reap began to thrive again. Today, the city offers more than just access to Angkor Wat. The Old French Quarter, night markets, traditional Apsara dance performances, and floating villages on the Tonlé Sap Lake provide visitors with a deeper look into Cambodian culture. Battambang Bat Caves. As dusk settles over the Cambodian countryside, an extraordinary natural spectacle unfolds near Battambang. From deep within the limestone caves of Phnom Kulen, millions of wrinkle-lipped bats take flight, forming a seemingly endless river of wings stretching across the sky. This breathtaking event can last for nearly an hour as the bats disperse into the night in search of food, playing a vital role in maintaining the region's delicate ecosystem. Located about 12 kilometers southwest of Battambang City, the caves are a popular attraction for both locals and visitors. Small roadside stalls and seating areas allow travelers to relax and take in the view while enjoying refreshments. The sheer volume of bats emerging from the cave is a mesmerizing sight, creating swirling patterns against the fading light. Their nightly journey helps control insect populations, benefiting nearby farmland and reinforcing the natural balance of the environment. Phnom Kulen is not just home to this incredible bat migration, but also holds deep historical significance. The Killing Caves, found within the mountain, serve as a sobering reminder of Cambodia's tragic past under the Khmer Rouge regime. Visitors often explore the hilltop temples and memorial sites before gathering at the cave entrance for the bat-watching experience. For those looking to witness this natural wonder, arriving before sunset is recommended to secure a good viewing spot. With a stunning backdrop of limestone cliffs, golden hour skies, and an unbroken stream of bats, this hidden gem of Battambang offers an unforgettable encounter with nature's raw beauty. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through Cambodia. We hope you've been inspired by its ancient wonders, stunning landscapes, and rich cultural heritage. If you enjoyed this adventure, be sure to subscribe for more explorations of the world's most fascinating places.